back on last night's film, what really stood out and what you guys did well?
Yeah, I mean, we were very efficient offensively. We didn't do a great job on Stores. He kind of got started early, and then we had a hard time kind of getting him turned off. But, I thought for the most part we made Soriano's life a little more difficult down there. He got some late against our bench, but I thought we did a good job there. But the basketball move, we had 20-plus assists, and we took care of the basketball, which you have to do against St. John's.
In the offseason, you were really confident that you could marry, an elite offense with an elite defense. And, since right around Christmas when you got Kaufman back, it seems like that's proving to be true. How did that come about? Because last year it wasn't balanced. This year it is. Why do you think it's been able to be put together like that?
Well, there's 4 guys that were part of that last year that are back this year. So last year everybody was new to it, with the exception of Kalkbrenner. But he was basically playing significant minutes for the first time in his career. So now you bring back the 3 freshmen from last year and Kalkbrenner, who played in the system a lot, and you plug in Baylor, who's would fit pretty well in just about any system because of his understanding of the game. And it allowed our offense kind of to move forward once we kind of figured it out early in the season. And then, defensively we're not perfect, but we're moving the right direction. And, we'll need one of our better defensive games Saturday.
Against Butler, I think you guys had maybe 7 guys with 8 points, and then last night you guys had all starters with at least 12. I guess how sustainable is that balanced scoring team?
Well, I think we're the only team in the country that has 5 guys averaging 11 points or more. So through 20 games, it appears that it's pretty sustainable. So I hope that can continue, and hope the bench can continue to give us a lift. We had some guys that did some good things again last night.
The last couple of losses to Xavier have been really close. When it comes to those last couple of games, do you want them to look back on that and use that as revenge or not?
Well, we'll look back on the games and try to learn from them. Try to fix some mistakes and try to build on some of the things we did well. You have to defend them. They're so elite offensively, and you saw Danny Hurley go to a bunch of zone last night. It takes a lot for him to go to that much zone, but I think they kind of threw their hands up trying to defend him man to man. They just don't have any weaknesses. There's nothing you can really cheat off of. You have to play everybody pretty honest, and they're very aggressive going to the rim, and then they clean up some offensive glass. And on top of that, they lead the league in three-point shooting, and they play with great pace. So as soon as you take a breath, they're going to punch you in the mouth. So we're going to have to really be locked in for 40 minutes. Yeah, like I said, we're moving the right direction defensively. We're keeping people off the free throw line, which we need to do. We're doing a good job of our 2-point defensive field goal percentage is one of the better ones in the country, and we're trying to force people into those shots, so you don't want them to make a high percentage of them. And while some teams have made some threes against us, the number of threes we're giving up isn't significant, and that'll be important tomorrow or Saturday, that we can run some of their shooters off the line.
What are your principles of emphasis defensively when you face a team that you can't get tricky with? If you have to essentially go 5 up and
yeah, our ball screen coverage, we really made a lot of mistakes in Cincinnati. Just some blown coverages, and times we overhelped, sometimes we didn't help enough. And we watched that on film the day after, and I know the guys were frustrated with our inability to execute some of that. There were times they'll put some guys on the floor at times that don't shoot it, and when that happens, you got to make sure that that person becomes a helper, and someone that can plug up the floor a little bit to make our life easier on some of that ball screen downhill coverage or actions that they run. So we're going to watch a little bit more in the film here in a couple minutes.
Kind of on a similar note, we talked to Trey about defending Sule really well through 18 minutes, and then maybe him getting a little loose through the course of the game. I guess what's it going to take to really put a lid on him, and how important is that?
Yeah, we haven't figured out exactly what to do with him. He had a big game against us at their place, and we tried some quickness on him. Sharif guarded him a little bit off the bench, did a good job for the most part. And Trey's length can bother him as well, but you have the key with him. You got to be there in the catch, because he's so good at scoring. It doesn't matter if he's running off a screen or off the dribble on the 3-point line, and then his mid-range game is really, really good, and he's really creative there. So we got to try to make his life as difficult as we can, and then we got to make him play on the other end of the floor.
2 more. The game was so emotional, and I know you talked on the basketball, but during that timeout, when they stand with the signs, have you ever caught yourself in there?
I don't think you can help but catch yourself. When they play that song and everybody's standing up with the name of a loved one or loved ones on the sign. It's a pretty cool deal. One of the I think most powerful things that's done in college basketball during the season. So. I say it every year. It's just amazing what this has morphed into. We hoped it would work when we started it, but it's really taken on a life of its own. And the money that we've raised has made it's made a real difference to the people that use the Hope Lodge. Number one, it helped get it built. Number two, now it takes money to run it every year, and it's been a wonderful thing for those families that need a place to stay when they're getting cancer treatments. Hopefully, it sounds like we're going to have a great crowd again Saturday, and it should be a lot of fun. And again, we always talk about the importance of early detection in the fight against cancer, and that's part of the reason we do this, just to make sure that everyone should know when they're supposed to be screened, at what ages certain screening should take place, and if those are done, it can prevent cancer, and people can live a relatively normal life if it's caught early. So, we hope that that's part of the messaging this week.
Slept great. Slept really good last night, especially after a win like that where you put up 100 points at the crib.
Yeah.
Great.
How much are you looking forward to this rematch, considering it was a good game the first time, you're at the top of the league, and it kind of gives you an opportunity to thrust yourself back into that race?
Yeah. I mean, it's a great opportunity for us, especially on a great occasion that we do every single year, which is the pink out. So, I mean, last year we had them up by, I want to say, 17 and a half, and we let them come back and win. So obviously we got a bad taste in our mouth from last year, and obviously we lost at their place when we were up at halftime as well. So we're just trying to ride our momentum into this game and be able to keep the streak going and be able to get back up at the top of the Big East like we know we should be.
Have you thought more about the most recent game or the 17-point?
I mean, Mac kind of mentioned it to us last night after we won, was a 17-point game. So, I mean, I feel like that's worse than the last game. So, but we just want to build on what we have right now. We feel like we're definitely at a point in the season to where we're playing our best basketball than we have all year, and we kind of want to keep building on that towards the end of the year and into February and March. So.
That game at Xavier, you almost came away with that one. What went so well that time that you have to duplicate Saturday?
I would say that our offense was rolling that night. We were moving the ball very well. Obviously, Baylor got out early. He was making shots very early, so we just tried to ride the wave of that. And, I mean, obviously we got to play defense better. I think we let them put up high 80s or something like that, so I'm pretty sure we're going to do a lot of defense today in practice. But mainly just the offense terms and us getting out in transition and being able to play fast.
What do you think in terms of guarding Sule Bloom? That first 18 minutes in the first matchup
Yeah.
was, pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you remember how he got loose?
Yeah. I would say that he had a couple possessions to where we messed up a ball screen coverage, or it was late in the clock, and then we kind of messed up on some ball screen stuff, and he was able just to see those shots go in. And obviously, when you're able to score the ball like he can, obviously when you see a couple shots go in, that's all you need to see for you to have a good night. So, I mean, we're going to lock in on him this game. We're going to try to minimize the amount of mistakes that we make in terms of ball screen coverage and in terms of just out of bounds plays. So that's really the biggest thing with him is he wasn't really able to score that much in the first 18 minutes like you said, but after that he kind of got loose. So.
The two teams that can score though at the level you guys can score.
Yeah.
Is the name of the game the team that makes the least mistakes, and this one's probably going to come up?
Yeah, for sure. I know that Mac was very livid the way that we played that game in terms of defense, because he knows that we can play defense so much better than the way that we did in that game at their place. So I'm pretty sure the big emphasis is whoever the teams that gets the most consecutive stops, is going to be able to win the game. So for us to win, that has to be us.
Yeah, you look back at that first game and think back to a couple possessions, maybe Jerome Hunter hitting that three and he never shoots, or the last possession where you guys couldn't get that shot you wanted and had a turnover. I guess in recent weeks we talked about possession 15 mattering just as much as possession 45. How have you seen that progression?
Yeah, we've definitely been trying to value possessions more each day, and I feel like that's kind of what's elevated us to be able to play top 25 basketball in terms of offense. So I feel like for us to minimize our mistakes is going to be the biggest thing for us, and being able to, like we said, just lock in on defense, being able to withhold them and withstand their run, because obviously great teams are going to go on a run sometimes throughout a game. So for us to minimize the amount of points that they can get in a run and be able to bounce back from those is going to be big for us.
Yeah, and thinking back to that possession where you guys had the chance to tie the game, I guess how do you think you guys have grown since, and not just in that situation, in the situations you had all year, and those late game moments?
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely say in late game situations, we've definitely come to terms with that. Like we're going to trust whoever Mac puts the ball in their hands. Obviously, we have a lot of guys that can shoot the last second shot, if you will. But obviously, in that game, it was Baylor. I think he had like 27 at that point. We all trusted him to shoot the shot. So, I mean, nobody blamed him for the loss or anything like that because obviously, like you said, there was a couple possessions early in the game where we turned the ball over. Just being able to minimize those mistakes, like you said. So, I mean, that was the biggest thing for us. We never really looked back on the game and said that the late game situation was the thing that lost us the game by any means. So.
Sure. And obviously, every game from this point matters. But
yeah.
Does it feel like there's an extra weight to this game? Maybe if you guys want to shot at that Big East title.
Oh yeah, for sure. For us to get the Big East title and for us to win the regular season title, we feel like this is a very big game for us. Obviously, we were able to beat St. John's at home last night in pretty dominant fashion, and then, like we said, we're just trying to ride the momentum into this game, and being able to play at home makes it just 10 times better because obviously we're very comfortable being able to play in such a great occasion like we are with the pink out game. So we're just trying to win this game and get our name back up there in the top 3. So.
Yeah, and forgive me if somebody asked already, but what's that game mean to you, the pink out game?
The pink out game means a lot. I've had 2 family members that have been diagnosed with breast cancer in the last 5 years. So, I mean, it's obviously something big and obviously it was something I knew about before I came here, and that was kind of a big deal for me. It was the pink out game last year, and so for us to be able to play this year against the same team that beat us last year is pretty big, and we can't wait for that matchup. Yeah. Oh yeah. I do like the early games. I love it. Not really a fan of the late games. I mean, personally, I would more like to play like in the middle of the day or early, like we did against Providence. I just feel like everybody's more up tempo. Everybody's much more awake. I mean, you kind of got the rest of your day just to get off of your feet and like in terms of be ready for practice, like we have to do today. So, I mean, I'm more of a fan of the early games for sure.
We agree.
Yeah.